Hey, this is Jim from Intermountain Custom Models. I'm gonna try to explain speed matching a little bit more. I got 3 engines that I speed matched here. They all have Tsunami sound in them. One is a Athearn Genesis GP38-2W. The second one is an Atlas GP40-2W, and the third one is an Intermountain SD40-2W. 3 different manufacturers, 3 different motors, all the same Tsunami sound, all run slightly differently. So I'm going to explain how I did the speed matching. So why don't we zoom in here. This is called a speed tunnel. And so what you would want to do is you would want to take each of those 3 engines separately. And what I did is I did it at 3 different speeds, and then you will measure the miles per hour that'll come up on that readout. So what I did for each engine was at speed notch 2, at speed notch 14, and at speed notch 26. I didn't do the lowest and the very lowest and highest. I just did slightly below on each side, and then you write down those mile per hour numbers for each of the 3 engines. Secondly, you set one engine as your standard, and then you don't have to touch that engine, and you would change the other 2 engines to match that. In my particular case, my standard was the Atlas engine because it ran the slowest. So you can't actually, because the CV was set for the highest, at the highest end to the highest number, so you can't raise that because it's the maximum, 255. So I lowered the other 2 engines to match that. And it turned out that what you do is for whatever the miles per hour are at each of the points, you divide those 2 and then you come up with a ratio, okay? And so in my case, the ratio was 0.8. Now we're going to move our camera to my computer here. And here, there we go. Let's see if we can zoom in on that. So I run an MRC system, and MRC has their own programming table. And so if you go in, you'll see this is set to 2-line segment, and so there you see each of the steps. So you can see steps 1 through 28. So what I did is the CVs are standard. They start at 9 and they go to 255. And in the middle is a CV80, which is 14, is set at 127. And CV94 on the top there is usually 255. So for this engine, which was the Intermountain engine, I kept the start voltage the same. In the middle, I reduced it down from 127 to 105, and at the end, I reduced that one down to 210. For the Athearn Genesis, it was just slightly different. And then I had to change I had to trim it in reverse for the Atlas engine to get it to run, but I'll explain that later. So now what you do is you program in that ratio, you put your engine on the programming track, and then it programs all those CVs to change them. Okay, you guys with me on that? So that should be pretty straightforward. If you have Decoder Pro, I would imagine it's basically the same. And then you put them on the track, you run all 3 of them together, you find out if you have to tweak it a little bit. Sometimes you just have to change the middle and end value slightly until you get everything to run right. Then to activate the programming, the speed tables, you change CV29 to 18. I have everything. I do everything on CV3, and then I'll change those CVs at the end. Or I'll change the road number from road number 3 to road number whatever the engine is at the end. And then you change 25 to 16. And that'll activate the speed tables. So with that said, go back to our engines. And there you go. And here, notch 1, 2, 3. There may be just very slight 5, 6, 7, 8. You can see they're very evenly spaced, etc. Oh, and you see that notebook over there? Write everything down so you don't forget it. And then in reverse, the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You don't want to have them coupled together because you'll never be able to tell. You want to have them spaced out and make sure that all the spaces stay the same. And you don't really need to go beyond 10 or 12. That's 12 because that you'll never realistically run your engines that fast. And that's basically it. And now what we've done is we've just matched 3 different manufacturers together in forward and reverse. Now what I had to do with the Atlas, it ran a little faster, so CV95 trims the reverse speed, so I had to reduce that down by 10%, and then it ran with the other 2 engines. But that's just trial and error stuff that you'll have to do. If you have any other questions, you can write me in the comments on the video, but that pretty much takes care of it. Alright, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Bye.